And then we'll just go off after we get them on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, my friends. It's me, Coach B. Welcome. Hello, hello, TK. Sheeter, hello. A.S. Mosley. You hear some voices in the background.
We are here with a lot
Voices in the background.
LGBT founders all at once Periscope.
All
Hello.
together.
The voices you hear in the background are my fellow colleagues. Andrea Schindler.
All the noise that you hear is
Hello, TK.
over here.
Oh,
We've got
Julie Dupree, so good to have you online. My friends are inviting their followers. And Holt, call me, my friend. Gatona, hiya. I'm in Andrea Schindler's kindergarten classroom. Ms. Shipley, good to have you online. Let me just share this. I'm going to do a little bit of sharing here.
I wish you were here too, my friends.
Glad you could see it. Come join us.
We are excited that you are stopping in, but I'm actually going to have you guys.
Hello.
I'm going to sign off because we are going to join Coach B on his Periscope. Merry almost Christmas, and so I'm saying hi to everybody, and if you guys can now, I'm going to sign off. And if you guys can go over to Coach B at
double scoping, that's right, Nancy. Hello from Elmhurst Elementary. Please invite your followers.
His Periscope name is at ChrisBiffle. Is that correct, Coach?
That's right.
Yes, at ChrisBiffle.
And
so if you go at ChrisBiffle and you follow Coach B, we're all going to
here is here are some of my Arabic friends, perhaps. There's Chris Rexton.
Good to see you, my friends. Glad you could join us. Hope to see you as we talk about some great things.
I'm signing off right now. Good to see you.
Well, Julie, welcome, welcome, welcome. My friends, we have a special broadcast today. We're delighted that you're here. And we are Whole Brain Teachers. Here is one of the co-founders of Whole Brain Teaching, Andrea Schindler. Andrea.
Hi there.
Andrea is our early education specialist. And here's another founder of Whole Brain Teaching.
Hello, good to see you all there.
Chris Rexted. And these are my two pals that I've been working with for 20 years. We're going to take a few more minutes. It's not a religious thing, it's an education thing. And we're going to talk about moral education and what we should do in response to recent events. Delighted to have you. Invite some friends, hit this little Perry button down here. And it is kind of wild to see all of us. We are now in Andrea Schindler's kindergarten classroom. So let's wait a minute or two. I'd like to know, first of all, what has been the response of your children to the attack in San Bernardino? Does it seem like it's far away? Is it affecting your kids at all? We'll have Andrea Schindler here to talk about what it was like in her kindergarten classroom. It was only a few miles, a few minutes actually from where the attack took place. But how are your kids reacting? Are they saying anything? Good to see people from overseas. Greetings from Gaza, Palestine. Hello, my friend. Wow. Just delighted to have people from the international community. Hello, Russia, and peace-loving people of the world. Nothing has been said. All right. Goodness, I'm just delighted to see how many people we have from overseas. Hey, from Turkey. Back at you, Turkey. Mm-hmm. Bless your soul. All right, here's Andrea. She's going to talk a little bit about what happened a week ago and what the reaction of her kids were. And then we're going to talk about a brand new feature of Whole Brain Teaching, which is moral education. I think you're really going to see some value in what we're up to. Here we go.
Hi, everybody. I'm glad that you've joined us here today, and I'm happy to be here together with the other two co-founders, and I'm just feeling very blessed that you guys have all joined us here today. Last week, as you know, it'll be a week ago tomorrow, we did actually have a terrorist attack less than a mile away from where our school campus is. And I have to tell you that during the time when it was happening, our school procedure is to be put on a lockdown, and this was a different situation. It was it was more elevated. But my children's response during the time, they were very calm. Some of them were sad, of course, and cried, but they kept calm and they kept it together. But oddly enough, anyone who's been watching me with my scopes, we've been working on whole brain teaching, the super improver coloring. And I got to tell you, that coloring was very, very therapeutic for them. They colored, and we put on we had it quiet, but they were very calm and coloring. And it was definitely a very intense time. I have to tell you, as a teacher, being here, I think my heart just ached for the fact that these are very different times. In my lifetime, I did not grow up where I ever had to worry about something like this. And I think the aftermath was more because, of course, once our students went home and they were made aware of everything that was happening, they did come in with some knowledge. And so I did let them share what they knew and talk to them very, very briefly, and just let them know that they were safe here, that they were very secure here, and that this was a safe place for them. But I have to tell you that just to keep the safety precautions, we did have another lockdown the next day, and that was very emotional, I think, for our students, just because they understood what had happened the day before and they were fearful about it happening again. But again, we just continued to reiterate to them that this was a safe place. And I've got to tell you, it's a very different reality that I'm realizing that our kids are now exposed to these kinds of things. And so it's put on my heart that we have to continue to work with them to make them feel safe and secure, and to build an environment that invites the virtues that Coach is going to be over. So I'm really excited to hear about everything that he's going to talk about today.
Thank you, Andrea. Hello, Beta Academy. Let's take a look at our presentation for the day. I'll use our...
Did you have a twin?
So it's a memorial for the victims of the San Bernardino massacre. And our question is, what changes should we make in our classrooms to respond to the ongoing threat of terrorism? And our answer is this, very simple. We should enliven and expand components of moral education. Moral education must be deeply engaging for our students and not tedious. Let me just make that, friends. So we want to incorporate moral values into whole brain teaching. We've always focused on reading, writing, and critical thinking, and this is an opportunity for us to talk about some central moral values and to teach them in a whole brain teaching way, which is, as you know, maximum engagement. And if you love maximum engagement, give me some hearts, my friend. All right, so here are our 5 rules. Follow directions quickly, raise your hand for permission to speak, raise your hand for permission to leave your seat, make smart choices, and keep your dear teacher happy. And our latest rule, added several months ago, keep your eyes on the target, please. These are used by educators around the world. Let me make another. We address an international audience. We're addressing a world community. So we need to have some values that everyone who is peace-loving and loves kids can endorse and support. So here's our suggestion for 4 moral values and how to incorporate them into our traditional rules. So the values are this. We want to say, under smart choices, we have 4 values: kindness, leadership, courage, and invincible grit. Let me show you the gestures. Here we go. So, the gesture for kindness is kindness. The gesture for leadership is leadership. The gesture for courage is make those muscly arms, courage. And the gesture for invincible grit is invincible grit. Everything we teach with gestures. One more time. So the gesture is kindness, leadership, courage, and invincible grit. So let's teach values using the whole brain, making it visual and auditory and physical. Now, don't worry about taking notes. This PDF will be free on Facebook. Let's look at the next screen. Now, we want to define these virtues. Kindness, what is kindness? It's a victory over selfishness. What is leadership? A victory over complacency. What is courage? A victory over fear. And invincible grit is a victory over discouragement. So we define these moral components as victories over vices, over negative human characteristics. But we define them in kid-friendly terms except for the word complacency. Complacency is a great vocabulary word. It means just letting things go. And so leader, they're going to have victory over complacency. Let's have a very simple. So there's our little graphic. These are all characteristics of Rule 4. Kindness, leadership, courage, and invincible grit. And make your own display. Our notion is that whole brain teaching should be so modular that you can adjust it however you wish. So if these 4 values don't fit your notion of what the world needs today, then put your own values underneath smart choices. Think of those as add-ons, as adjustment slots. But if you do, make it engaging and include some gestures with your moral education. Now, as you know, we love games. Kids love games. So we're going to turn moral education into a game. All right, so the game has a leadership box. My dear friend Andrea is now going to display for you the leadership box. Here it is. Andrea, talk about the 4 sides of the leadership box.
No, I didn't do it right.
Here comes Andrea.
Okay, here I am. Okay, this is our leadership box, and you can see it is a wrapped shoebox. But on each side, we have one of the components. Here we have courage. Here we have leadership. On this side, we have kindness. And on this side, we have invincible grit. And of course, at the top is a place for us to put our leadership cards, which you'll hear about in a minute. The purpose of having each one of the values on each side of the box is so that whatever value we're looking for is going to be the value that we're displaying. So if we're looking for kindness, this is the side we would show. Invincible grit, we would show this side. If we're looking for courage, we'd show this side. And leadership, we would show this side.
Okay, so let us know what you think about the 4-dimensional leadership box. If you like it, give us some hearts. We'd love to see your comments. And of course, you're wondering what goes into the leadership box. You see how simple that is? All right, now let's talk about what goes into the leadership box. And here's someone saying they're going to start it right away. Wonderful. Nancy loves it. Shelley loves it. We're going to tell you more. We'll get your kids involved. Love it, love it, love it. Fits so well with Leader and Me. It certainly does. All right, so now what do we do with the leadership box? Here's my dear friend Chris Rexted. He will show you the leadership cards. Go ahead.
So we want kids to be able to look around the classroom and find those 4 leadership principles in their own classmates. So we've designed some cards. Right here it just says student leader. Sorry, it's backwards, but we've got some cards on there, some stars. Those are colored in. You can have some that are blank. And what kids are doing is they're looking for their classmates that are showing the particular one we're looking for today, or maybe they're looking for one they've already seen earlier. But they would write their friend's name on here that they are seeing this leadership quality. Then on the back, write a little sentence, maybe in a triple whammy whole brain teaching writing way. My friend so-and-so is showing invincible grit today because they are doing part A, part B, and part C. 3 parts. Then they stick it inside the box, and at the end of the week, we will choose some new leaders for next week. I'll probably have 2 names in my mind I already want that I've seen, and then I will choose 2 cards out of the box, so the next week those 4 or 5 kids will be the leaders.
Okay, so let's go over that procedure one more time. The traditional problem with leadership in class is you get lame ducks. Kids become leaders and they're leaders forever. In this game, you're only a leader for 1 week. So the teacher will pick 2 names, and then the teacher will draw a couple of names out of the box, and any other name in the box, it gets read, but the box gets filled up every week. So it's a leadership lottery. More fun, more engaging, more drama, more suspense, and no one knows what's going to happen. And what do we mean by leadership? Well, the particular virtue of leadership is we want to see kids acting like they're 2 grades older, 2 grades higher, even better 4 grades higher. So Andrea is going to talk to you about how motivating it is to kids to have the target behaving like 2 grades higher. This is how it works in kindergarten.
So in kindergarten, we started out, of course, at the beginning of the school year where we're working on thinking and looking and acting like 2nd graders. And I've got to tell you, the enthusiasm bumps up a huge notch when they're trying to do thinking, looking, and acting like a 2nd grader. They're sitting up taller, they're doing bigger gestures, and more students are participating. But then when we introduced our power card and we went with 4 grade levels higher, all of a sudden we have the kids that are taller than they could ever be. They're using bigger gestures, they're saying it faster, they're doing it quicker, and they're much, much more apt to be engaged in what we're doing. And when we do it the right way, wrong way, where they're practicing it, doing it like a preschooler, and then doing it like a 2nd grader, it gives them a chance to do it the wrong way first, and then they can't wait to snap right back to doing it the right way.
Now here's the great thing about having all 3 of us here is that we can now see how does acting 2 grades higher, how is that a measure in 4th grade with Chris Rexted's kids?
All right, so my students, of course, 2 grades higher would be a 6th grader, and we don't have 6th graders at our school, but they know that that's junior high, and they know that they're supposed to be acting more mature. They follow directions faster, they follow them quicker. A lot of the same things that Andrea was talking about. We want our students to be just that much better. And it's very simple for my classmates, my students, to look around and see, are the leaders doing what they should be doing? And so they have a perfect example. And when I remind my leaders, hey, I want to see those leadership qualities, they sit right up and they get reminded quickly too. So it's a very good check and balance of constantly reminding kids of making Rule 4 choices. And we just very simply can touch right here and they are ready to go, and it reminds them quickly to get back on task. So it's a really great idea.
Okay, so let's look at a few more slides. Like all of our scopes, these are brief. There's our leadership box. You'll get this PDF. And what are the advantages of this game box? One, it's flexible. So you can feature any of the 4 virtues whenever you want. It endorses equality. Every student has a chance each week to be a leader. You can use the 4 virtues in academics and reading. For challenging kids, which is our specialty, the opportunity for leadership is often an irresistible motivator for resistant learners. You might say, if I see you consistently following Rule 2, I might drop your name in the leadership box twice this week. You can get parental or community involvement. Have parents or community leaders come in and talk about their own experience with the virtues. Certainly it fits in with super improvers. Kids who are improving should be rewarded. It works for K-12. And because it's a lottery, it releases dopamine in the kids' brains, and it just turns your classrooms into funtricity dynamos. We want actions, not slogans. So what do we mean by kindness? We mean active kindness, helping others. What do we mean by leadership? Active leadership. Model whole brain teaching skills. Active courage, make brave choices. Active grit, never quit. So we don't want these principles to be abstract or theoretical. We want them to be concrete and visible and fun and engaging. All the things that whole brain teaching has always been. All right, so If you have any questions, or just give us your reaction. There's a new page for whole brain teaching. We want to include a moral component in our classroom rules. We want to focus on 4 virtues: kindness, leadership, courage, and invincible grit. We want to make it fun, and we want to turn the whole thing into a game. So if you're on board with this, we'd love to see some exclamation marks. We'd love to see the hearts come flowing up the screen. You have suggestions, please offer them to your colleagues. If you have questions for Andrea, or Chris, or myself, we'd love to hear from you. You're excited about it, lots of exclamation marks. What do you do with a kid who won't do the gestures? Well, with a kid who won't do the gestures, we use some other whole brain teaching techniques like the recess box, or sitting them with a high energy student, or rewarding them for microscopic improvement on the super improver wall. But when you have kids who are resistant learners, then you set very small microscopic goals, and then you reward them with improvement when they meet those goals. Great stuff, says Boney. Kelly G says, since 2 cards are chosen and we pick 2, are there 4 leaders a week? Approximately. That's your call. What is the recess box? Take a look at a previous webcast, and we will be talking much more specifically about whole brain teaching, challenging kids after the first of the year. Question for Andrea. How quickly are you thinking of introducing this in kindergarten? Go ahead, Andrea.
Okay. Hi there. So this is actually something that we are going to be getting ourselves started with right away, but we didn't start this at the beginning of the school year, and Coach and I were coming up with some ideas. The tricky part about kindergarten, and those of you who are out there who don't teach kindergarten, you can be thankful that you don't have this problem, but the issue is them being able to write down their friends' names. And so at this point in the school year, they are able to identify friends' names and they are able to write them, or you can also help the students with writing the friends' names. If you take a look, will this work if I show them?
Yeah.
Okay. How do I? Oh wait, no, maybe I should. I'm figuring this out. If you take a look at my calendar wall, up above my calendar wall, I have all the students' names up here. So this is an easy place for them to be able to look up here and to copy the kids' names when they want to write down and not friend. But I do want to start this earlier in the school year. So we were discussing how that could happen, and I'm open for ideas from you guys, but one of the ideas we came up with was a system of where, and of course you'd have to preempt this with a lot of explaining beforehand how we use kindness with our hands, but basically you would have the students stand up and they would walk over and put their hand on a person, gently on a person that they would nominate to be one of the leaders. And then you take a look around the room and you see if there's people who have more than one hand on them. So that was one of the ideas that we came up with. Another idea I had is at the beginning of the school year, I know, go home and make one of those boxes right now. At the beginning of the school year, when our students get their pictures taken, and I don't know if you guys have this same advantage, but we have on our system where we can take the students, we can take the attendance by picture. So within the first month of school, I actually have a whole class list that has pictures. So I even thought about printing out those lists and letting the kids circle the picture of the friend that they felt showed the leadership trait for the week. So,
any more questions? We are going to show you the names and the faces of the men and women that this memorial is for. We are making a fundamental change in whole brain teaching in response to the tragedy in our community and to the tragedy in the world. Typically, we finish these webcasts with teachers letting us know who they are and where they're from. So we're going to continue with our mission and goal. So let the names flow down the screen. Where are you from? Who are you? It's Whole Brain Teachers United, helping the world community and being aided by the world community. So peace-loving people everywhere, people who really love to have fun with kids. Let your names flow down the screen. Where are you from? San Jose, California, Columbia, South Carolina, San Diego, California, Lisa from Evansville, Indiana, Michelle, Oklahoma, Garland, Texas, New Jersey, Rain, Louisiana, New Jersey, Asheville, New Brunswick, Canada, Sebring, Florida, Lodi, oh yeah, from New Jersey, Alabama, France, bless your soul, Atlanta, Australia, yes indeed. Good to have Lynn online, Vernal, Utah. Thank you so much, my friends. We will have a series of scopes regularly scheduled after the first of the year. But now let's just take a look at the faces and names of the people who lost their lives less than a week ago. This is what this is about, a fundamental change in whole brain teaching, just to mark this occasion in our. So here is Robert. He was 40 years old. Isaac, 60. Bonetta, 46. Harry, 46. Sierra, 27. Juan, 50. Aurora, 26. Shannon, 45. Larry, 42. Damien, 58. Tin, 31. Nicholas, 52. Yvette, 27. Michael, 37. My friends, you can get a copy of this scope at Catch Me, ChrisBiffle. You can get a PDF at Whole Brain Teaching. God bless us all, and we will move forward. Whole Brain Teachers United. See you after the first of the